Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Brothers After Dark. And today's going to be a really good episode. I got three good guys on here. I really appreciate them coming on here. I got Lonzo Starr, Jamal Lessie. Jamil Lessie, sorry. Onaji, and they're from Konkret Comics. And I definitely appreciate you guys coming on here. How you guys doing?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good.
I'm great.
All right. So, say that again.
I'm excited.
All right. So, can you guys basically tell me like each of y'all background before we definitely get right into it?
All right. So, my name is Lonzo Starr. I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I now live in Central New Jersey, next to that Jamil guy over there. I started off as a music producer, actually. I started with a Konkret music group, and I've always been a comic book fan. I've always been huge into the nerd community, and one day I got hired to do a theme song for an independent comic creator, and that was my first time being introduced to the world of indie comics, and it kind of blew my mind. And that's where the thought of Konkret Comics came about. I started working on a character, and as I was in that process, I started meeting guys like Jamil Lessie and Onaji Rouse, and we were all in a similar path, and we wound up teaming up together like the Avengers, and now we're on a mission to take on the big two, should I say. You know what I mean?
All right. How about you, Onaji?
My name is Onaji, originally from North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Raleigh.
In Atlanta, Georgia. What you say? See, I got to be ready for those. I currently live in Atlanta, Georgia. Pretty much, I started liking comics since I was little. I've always been creative and into art growing up. So pretty much before everything really popped off with comics, I knew characters before like the Marvel Studios and movies would come out. So been in there since the jump. Currently, I do writing as well for like down here in Atlanta. Like I help write for a web series that's online, as well as also, in the entertainment business down here. So what better way than to branch between the comics and the entertainment world? So.
I like it. I definitely like that.
Right. Well, my name is Jamil Lessie. I'm born in Trinidad and Tobago. My parents, basically, we lived up and down the entire East Coast. From New York, Jersey to Florida to South Carolina and back. And currently I'm back in Jersey. My father got me into comic books at a young age. From the movies, Predator,
classic.
Everything. Classic. Rocketeer. Anything that dealt with superheroes. My father got me into that. What really drove my passion to want to be a comic book artist was the first time Superman died. And then when I started reading Spawn, that's when it was solidified. I was like, yeah, I definitely want to do this. Artistic myself, I draw, I write poetry. I used to do spoken word. I dabbled in dancing at one point, but poetry really opened the door for me to want to do comics, come back to doing comics, because I've always used my art as a medium to express myself and talk, and I feel like, writing comics is a better medium now, especially with everything that's going on in this world. I can really express myself the way I would like through what I write, and it comes with visuals. So, yeah, that's my story.
All right. So how did you guys, I know Lonzo, you created the name and stuff, but how did you come together and create comics, Konkret Comics? How did you come together and like start it off and decide to become like a publishing company?
Well, we all three were making comics independently on our own before we even met. When I met these guys, they were already in the process of making comics, and we all realized early in meeting each other that we had the similar mindset of where we wanted to go with comics. And to be honest, man, it really wasn't even that hard for us to get on the same wave pattern, because we're so passionate about what we're doing that it just naturally clicked up, and that's how we really meshed together as Konkret Comics. We understood what each of us wanted to do and where we wanted to go, and that three brains were better than one. So that's kind of where we started off at.
All right. Okay. Well, can you guys briefly talk about like basically your day-to-day in and outs of being a publishing company? Like, how do you hire people, writers, artists, content creators? Like, how do you pick up on people? And briefly just go over that.
I mean, there's so many wheels to this machine, like spinning plates. I mean, it depends. I mean, long as you want to lead first, and then we'll each chime in.
To me, I feel like it's a 24-hour thing. You know what I mean? Like it never ends. Ideas never stop coming in, and we're always thinking of new ways to reach our fans. So literally, it could be a random idea that Jamil has at 3 a.m. He'll call me and text me. We'll plan it. I may text a Najee and wake him up, piss him off completely. You know what I'm saying? But, it's kind of like a 24-hour thing. But usually, for me personally, I would say I usually wake up and I look at all of our platforms and how we're going to market that day, and what we are marketing. And we usually discuss that in the morning, what we're all going to market. And then we usually market the same thing. And throughout the day, we just communicate and pass ideas. And even outside of that, we talk creatively about what we want to do with our comic books and our characters. So all day, it's just talking all day, man. Playing and talking all day. You know what I mean?
I like it.
Right. And to double down, we all write our own stories. I wouldn't say there's a certain process in which you should utilize. I say go what makes you comfortable.
Okay.
And then obviously when you're writing a comic book script, there's a format you should follow. And then as far as the when you look, whatever you're looking to work, whatever you're trying to convey, whatever picture you're looking for, whatever style, just always look for references. Like right now, I just love that Power Rangers versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style.
Yeah.
That art style. So what I did is I just compiled a bunch of references from that comic book, and I just looked for the type of artist that can to draw like that, and that's basically as far as how I go about looking for artists and certain things based on the type of story I want to tell and put together.
All right.
So yeah.
And where do you go to find artists?
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Fiverr. What's the other one? Something art. Start with a D.
Oh, Deviant Art.
Deviant Art.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
go to Deviant Art, and even at Comic Cons, you can run into a lot of artists too.
Okay, that's a good idea. What Comic Cons have you guys been to?
I could say me and Jamil have hit a lot on the East Coast together. Okay. I've obviously I've done one. Well, I went to one in Maryland, and I went to one in DC, and I went to the New York Comic Con, and it extremely blew my mind, man. Like, I've never seen that magnitude of nerdism in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's what's up, though. That's what's up.
It was bananas. Like, even to not even go there and you know, I didn't have a table. I went there as a fan, so just experiencing that was crazy. You know, it was like mind blowing. But I'll pass the mic.
I went to Dragon Con last year.
How was that?
Oh my God! Last year, so Dragon Con it keeps growing and growing as time goes on. And last year it was bananas, and the lines were wrapped around the building for the vendor because pretty much they had all the 2 buildings set up for vendors and video games.
Wow.
And that line was so ridiculous they had to wrap around and then it was crazy. It was crazy the way they did it. So it was fun. I had a blast. I mean, it was an all-day event. I was tired, but it was real. It was real. It was crazy. It was real intense.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, hopefully we get out there.
Yeah, the only one I've been to is Anime Boston. I'm trying to go to venture out and go to other cons, either any type of Comic Cons, or there's another one I'm interested in is Blurred Con. I'm trying to go to that one.
Yeah,
there's a lot of them out there I'm trying to go to, but during this,
with everything that's going on,
yeah, I was just about to say during this crisis, it kind of shut everything down, but
yeah,
it's whatever. I'll keep it pushing like we were saying earlier. So I now want to get into each of you guys' comic books. I'm really interested in all 3 of you guys' designs and characters, and I'm interested how do you guys come up with their names and their powers and everything. So no particular order, you guys can briefly talk about each comic book and how did you guys come up with the process of you making your comic book.
I'll go last.
He always gotta be that guy, doesn't he? Always gotta be him. All right. I am the creator of Acolyte, The Legend of Acolyte, The Son of a Supreme, issue number 1. The book is about a man in search of his destiny, and he finds that in the strangest way. And he learns that he's connected to a very high power. The premise to the story, I guess the purpose of Acolyte, what I want to convey is that, we have a larger importance than we think, throughout life. Most people just go around not knowing what their purpose is or what they're supposed to be doing. And I often thought that, growing up, and I wanted to portray a character that learns his purpose and how he chases what he needs to do. The way I came up with Acolyte, it's kind of, I kind of just took myself and made me a fictional character to do the things that I always wanted to do. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm a big Star Wars fan and space traveling, all that good stuff. And I noticed, I never really knew any black people besides Lando that was in space. You know what I'm saying? Lando was literally one of the only black people.
You didn't count Jar Jar Binks?
Come on now. Come on. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Lord of mercy, man. But, besides Lando, I don't remember seeing, and maybe Chris Tucker in Fifth Element, but that,
yeah.
I don't count that one. But so, I've always wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to discover some new planets with new life, and so I decided to put all that into my comic book. And I'm also a big fan of, the Supermans and the Thors, all the iconic superheroes. So I wanted to make an iconic hero that the little boy in me could look up to and be like, I want to be, him. He looks like me. I want to be that guy. So that was really the purpose of Acolyte. I just wanted to live out all my fantasies, my dreams, and go completely ham with my creations.
I'll grab the mic and take over. It's Jamil. Go last.
Go ahead and snatch it, brother.
So, my character Odina, the female. She pretty much is, the main, the baddest. But no, what's funny about the book Odina is I originally started on another book that I was creating about a young brother. But the original idea for her was just to be like a tie-in. Like she wasn't even supposed to be like the main book. So, but when I created her, I pretty much broke it down like how I created her. Like I got 8 nieces, so that's like a lot of strong personalities. If anybody ever met my family, they would run for the hills because these sisters don't play. So being around them, it seems kind of like they are represented in that sci-fi genre. It's kind of sad a little bit because these are Black people. We're superhuman overall. I mean, let's go ahead and say it. But if there's voice is not really put on the film or anything, it's going to be the sisters. We got brothers, even though we don't got many, but we got the brothers. We don't got that many, but the sisters don't usually are portrayed that way. So why not have the sisters front line and center? So when I created her, I pretty much created a character where she was going to stand out on her own, where she wouldn't be the typical, I won't say the token Black chick that you see in all the comic books, but
yeah,
it is what it is. I want her to be her own little character, her own voice, her own style, and I want her to stand out. So that's why I was like, well, I took her piece by piece, hairstyle, personality. I pretty much took every personality trait of my nieces and combined it into her. So pretty much she is like Supergirl. But that's the point that I wanted to break about, Black women is that, they often seen as, they're not looked at as powerful, but they are. I mean, let's be clear.
Yeah.
The world doesn't see them like that. So, and that's why I created my character. Jamel.
Oh, it's my coming to the stage. I created Absolver. I was working on for years. Originally his name was going to be Vanquisher, and then it became Vanquish. But I was up in the air with the story and what it was going to be about. Foundationally, I just knew somebody was going to die and come back to life, But I didn't really put the story together the way I wanted. So then that George Zimmerman trial came on. And then when he got off, I had this crazy anger and vengeful spirit. Like I was teary-eyed and everything. I'm not even gonna lie, And at that point, I'm like, yeah, he's gonna be about vengeance, and then that's when I put the whole entire story together. I had to change his name because the Vanquish was already being utilized.
Okay.
So so after I put the story together, figure out, what is his purpose? What is he doing? Why is what is he doing? He's absolving people of their vindictive spirit of that nature. So his name Absolver is what pretty much that's how his name became Absolver. But I literally use him as a vehicle to to live out my vindictive spirit. Anything I feel, anybody I feel, I wish I could attack or take on. I live through him through that. He's my good bad guy. And I love it. And I guess I picked the color scheme because heaven is always represented in white and hell's always always black. So I figured since he's in between, gray was the perfect option. And I picked purple as the offset color because I didn't want to go with the typical reds or blues, yellows, but also purple, for royalty. And since he is a black man, purple purple seemed fitting. So gray and purple for Absolver. And yeah, that's basically that in a nutshell when it came to Absolver.
All right.
So I'm gonna cut. So I just got something to say, and I'm glad you went. So now I'm gonna really go last, Jamil. I forgot. I forgot to say I got the name Odina because it means mountain in a Native American
Okay.
tribe, and pretty much like the mountain, like strong, like one, powerful, can't be moved. But and also I just want to be petty and just cut Jamil.
I'm gonna go last then. No, it's all good.
All right, so I'm gonna move on. I'm curious to know, like, so you guys have all three of your comic books and you put them together, and now you have this company. How important is you guys' message to the world? Like, I know as I'm hearing you guys' story, you guys represent your superheroes is repping basically like either yourself or your anger or a black woman. All I see is like the black community. So how important is each comic book to the world?
I personally like how Onaji explains this question, so I'm gonna let him rock out.
I will be glad to.
I feel hurt. I feel hurt.
I think it's really important for the simple fact is it's being black right now in this time and age as a creator and controlling our own narrative. It's very important. It's not just about who else is sitting at the table. It's about building our own. Like Tyler Perry said, it's like building our own table. Why are we waiting for someone else to do it? I think it comes to that point in your life where you don't wait for someone else to create something. There's somebody in our community, and we all know, like children, daughter, nieces, nephews, uncles, who at one point want to see themselves as those characters. Yeah. That's why it's important, because they need that inspiration too. After the bullshit we go through, excuse my French, sorry. Sometimes we need that inspiration, that deflection from reality of what's going on right now. So yeah, it's very important that we tell these stories and we have that narrative of our people, especially written by us.
Yes, I totally agree with everything you just said, and that's why I really wanted to interview you guys, just to get inside you guys' head and also just to get some tips and tricks and everything. That's another thing. Is there anything like tips or tricks on making a comic book, or was there any like difficulties or setbacks in making your comic book?
The one thing you have to understand is art is very subjective. Somebody out there is going to like what you create. And outside of that, you define what you think is the type of quality product you want to put out. And then once you understand those two things, you will be pretty much on your way of just creating whatever you want to create. Because I mean, we all have the imagination. Like, me, I work with some people who have great ideas, but they can't draw. So, I can draw. You know what I'm saying? I just want to be able to write and move on. So we got a very passionate editor, So, I mean, honestly, just understand that art is very subjective. You define what you think quality is. You know what you like. You know what you paid for. So, is this what I would like to give? This is what I want to deliver to everybody else, And yeah, you just if you can't, whatever you can't do, you just find somebody that can help get this mess in your head down on paper for you. And then once that's done, you're on your way. It's really not that hard, you know. It's just why I like working with these guys is they help keep that fuel lit, you know, that passion, you know. And I would say definitely have a passion for this, because if you're chasing money, then then this ain't for you.
Yeah,
That's my personal opinion. You know, if you're chasing money, it's definitely not for you. You really have to be passionate about this, you know. And that goes with the last question that you asked, and that covers everything what Najee said. And that's where the passion comes from. The passion is not what are we doing for the kids today, but what are we leaving for the kids for tomorrow.
Oh, facts. I like that.
And that's pretty much that.
So my one thing I want to add to that, well, to answer your question about was it difficult, I think the difficulty comes with not knowing what you want to do as far as making a comic, not knowing what it costs, not knowing the process of writing a story, what different compartments come with building a production team. So my advice to anybody that wants to get into making comics is just really learn and understand what you want to do, how you want to do it, what your budget is. Know your budget. Know your budget for sure, because you could walk around here and get a really dope artist to draw all the lines. Now you ain't got no money left to get the page colored. Or then you got to pay for the letterer. I mean, and then after all that's done, now you got to pay for how you're going to get the book made, how you going to print it, how you going to ship it. So, you know, it's a lot of things people don't think about when they're making a comic book. Creating it is fun. It don't cost no money to write your ideas down. If you're the writer, you can write your own script. But those other parts you can't do, unless you can find somebody that wants to partner with you, you're going to have to pay. And you got to know, you know, how you're going to pay for that. So
yeah, I have to agree with everything they said about that, because one, art is subjective. You know, if you have an idea, that's great. Put it together, start writing it down. You know, how you're going to break it down, how you're going to do that. Also, you know, find a tribe, because you're not going to be able to do this alone.
Okay.
Go insane. I'm gonna be up front. You'll go effing insane trying to do most of the stuff alone. So find your people, get you a team, and y'all work together. There are people who, one thing I've learned in this world, sometimes you don't have to pay money for people to collaborate with you. Now the artists and colorists, that might be a totally different story, but finding you a group of people to work with, that's all you need. And also put the work in. Don't worry about the outcome. Stop worrying about how it's going to be. You know, you'll stress yourself out thinking about the final destination. You got time for that. Just do the damn work.
All right, cool.
Work, right.
Yeah, build your team like the Patriots, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Focus on strengths.
Can I make a request? When anybody answers a question, can you just mute his mic, please?
Oh, let me see if I can mute it.
Please mute that man's mic.
Oh, man. All right, guys. I appreciate it. So I got a few more questions. What would you guys say to someone? I know you touched on a lot of stuff right now, but what would you say to some up and coming, like, Black kid that's up and coming artist, content creator, writer that wants to, you know, get in the business that you guys are in?
I would say learn the business, learn your budget, and build a team. I mean, I would just keep it simple like that. But first, learn the business. Like, Are you doing this as a hobby, or do you want to make this your career? You know, we're making this is our career right now. So we can eventually leave these jobs that we work. Once we figure this out, I'm sitting in the pink slip. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting out of there, because I want this to be my life. I want to wake up and we having meetings about making comics. So we're putting everything into this. I mean, if you come in here half stepping, it's going to be a lot of people that's going to pass you, and you're going to be like, man, you know, I don't know. I I don't know why I'm not selling books. I don't know why my book's not being done, because you really got to be consistent. And I think both those brothers down there touched on that consistency, getting up. Like we literally get up every day and talk about what we're going to do today.
Okay.
And every day is different. Every day is different. So
I like it.
They don't want to talk to them.
All right. So
I mean to, if I could.
Go ahead.
It is okay to make mistakes. It is always definitely okay to make mistakes. You know, don't shy away from it. That's that's part of the learning process. You know, and don't be. And the importance of learning is because everything is trial and tribulation. In life, I believe you're gonna take more L's than you get W's. And a lot of people, because they get so many L's, they get afraid and they stop.
Yeah.
You know, I had a friend, like we lived right next to each other, and for 8 years, no matter what story we created, we could never get past the first or second page. Right? I meet Lonzo and Anaji, and then within a year, boom, Konkret Comics. And that's all because you got a three-headed monster that was like, yo, this is what we doing. You know? Alonzo wants to go left, Anaji want to go right, I want to go straight, but we all trying to get to the same destination, and we just pulling each other. And it's nothing but love and respect. There's literally no egos, you know. And so I would tell somebody, oh, make your mistakes.
Mute them.
No. See, I wasn't even on that. See, chill. No, seriously, like make your mistakes. And meet the right people. The right people. This is everything. You have to have a love and a passion for it. And you know, you really have to study your craft. Really have to study your craft. Like, you know, like right now when we started Konkret Comics, the wave is literally the fantasy books. You know, people love the Lord of the Ring type stories and the space operas, and that's what's really the temperature right now. But you know, so you know, you just read, you know, pick and choose your poison, learn your demographic, target who your story is. You know, if you write a story about dinosaurs and you find people that love, you know, the Lost Kingdom, then you follow those people. You know, these are things you have to do. You know, and I just understand, like, it's a long game. It's literally a marathon. It's not a sprint. You're gonna be running for a minute. You know.
Amen, brother Leslie.
Yeah. So a lot of people come in and they're looking for that quick satisfaction, and when it doesn't happen like that, they get what's the word I'm looking for? Discouraged.
Okay.
You know? So you know, you have to understand it's a long game. It's a marathon. You know, make your mistakes, find the right people, understand the temperature of the room, what's hot right now, what's not. You know, and if you're set on putting out a certain book, then you find the people that's looking for that, and that's pretty much that. You know, yeah.
You know, you're absolutely right about being able to fail. You know, take those L's on the chin. You know,
fall forward.
You know, like I'm gonna tell you right now, because rejection is God's protection.
Yeah.
You know? How many times I put in this work before this stuff actually somewhat kicked off? So, you know.
True, bro.
All right.
That's true.
All right. So I'm gonna go on to some personal question. What is you guys' favorite either superhero or comic books or anime characters?
Favorite anime character. Damn. There's like so many. You know what I mean? I would say All Might is probably my favorite right now. I just like the
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like when he's in his regular form, he looks completely suspect, you know.
Oh man, what's the name of this one?
Huh?
What's the name of this one you talking about?
Academia.
Yeah. My hero.
Okay.
So
I like One Punch Man.
when he be getting it in, man, like I haven't felt this what's the word I'm looking for? I haven't felt this motivated from like speeches since like Optimus Prime. Like he make you really want to just sit there and be like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I would say anime would be All Might right now. He's glorious. Comic book character. There's so many, man. When I found out about Blue Marvel, he kind of jumped to my pinnacle.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Like, soon as I read his history and learned about him, it was like, boom, Blue Marvel was my favorite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But my favorite, my two favorite, I would say, when I was growing up was Silver Surfer and Gambit. Silver Surfer and Gambit. I thought Gambit was the coolest man in the land. Pull out them cards. Had a nice woman. Girl looked good. His woman was powerful. I liked her too. I'm talking about Rogue, okay?
I mean, he kind of had another chick before that. So
okay, but I identify with Rogue, okay? Sheesh, brother. For those of you who don't know, Bonaja yells at me about X-Men facts every day.
Oh.
As soon as I get one wrong, like he's on my one mistake. You know what I'm saying?
I'm an X-Men. That's my main comic. I'm an X-Men person. Like, I like the Marvel and DC stuff, like all, overall, but X-Men was like the main thing. Like, I'm an X-Men Trekkie, if that's a thing, I guess you could say. Yeah, so. Yeah.
So I would say All Might, Blue Marvel, and my favorite comic book, probably the one that affected me most, was The Death of Superman. I mean, reading that when I was about I was like 10 years old, sneaking and reading that, and you know what I mean? It's Superman, so you like, can't nothing happen to Superman.
I read that, I was like, he got his ass whooped.
Like this.
He needed help from everybody else.
Yo, listen, bro. When I seen him bleeding, I was like, that scared the hell out of me, bro. You know? So I'll pass the baton. I know Jamil wants to go last, but I think you should make him go like right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jamil, what's your comic and anime?
The two anime characters that got me into anime was Ape Man. I don't know if anybody's seen that. And the other one, I've always called him Kashan. I heard him say Kerosene. So those two characters really got me into anime a lot. A favorite comic book superhero is definitely Spawn, hands down. Okay. You know, from the time he's introduced to me, I was like, yo, this guy is dope, you know. Because by then, you know, you had Superman, and I hated Boy Scout superheroes. I hated Boy Scout superheroes. And then you got this dark, demented, cool-looking character. His cloak is red, which is my favorite color. I was like, yo, this guy is dope. So definitely Spawn. And my favorite comic book right now. You know what? I'm enjoying the Invincible story.
Okay. I'm
really enjoying that. You know, it's a real unique take on everything. So out of all the Superman rendition stories, I think this one is it's a nice take on it. It's a nice story.
All right. Okay. So I have one more question for you guys. If anybody wants to reach out to you guys, talk to you guys, you know, ask for advice, how can they find you?
You can contact us on all of our social medias. We talk to people daily on Instagram. Like our inbox is crazy. Facebook. And also, if you log on to our website, we have a messenger on our website. So once you get on our website, we see you. You can ask us questions right through there and talk to any one of us. But yeah, people can reach out to us anywhere they see us. They can reach out to us.
We're all connected through the main Konkret Comics social media.
Okay.
Instagram, all that.
And we all have our own independent social medias too, as far as each character has their own Facebook page and Instagram, and we have our personal pages as well where they can contact us, the people, you know.
Do you want to let the people know so they can
Konkret Comics,
okay.
just like our shirts, Konkret Comics with a K, on all social medias, spelled the same way. No spaces in between, just Konkret Comics on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our website, konkretcomics.com.
All right. I like it. So before we wrap up, do you guys want to say anything, any last words, any random thoughts? Whoever wants to go first or last, doesn't matter. Do you have anything else to say?
I would say I'm just excited about what tomorrow's going to bring. Y'all having a platform and having us on here, it means a lot. It really does mean a lot. And we was discussing this prior to everything. Unity is big.
Yeah.
Set aside ego, set aside that pride, stop chasing money and just, look at the bigger picture. I want people to understand that, Konkret Comics or myself, we're not anti anybody's stories.
Yeah.
We're just more pro. We want to see more stories that we can relate to. Somebody that literally understands our story and is able to tell it our way. As much as I love Todd McFarlane for making Spawn, Al Simmons a black guy, in 2020 would have been so much more if it was written and created by a black man or even a black woman. You know what I'm saying? So, for anybody that listens to that for everybody's going to listen to this podcast, I want everybody, when they get a chance, run this test. When everything opens up, go in your comic book store or go to a movie aisle in Walmart, close your eyes and then randomly touch something and see how much of those front covers has somebody that represents you, no matter where you come from. How often are you going to see or pick up something where that lead is somebody that resembles you, somebody that would understand your story? We love the Luke Cage stories and all of that. I'm gonna end with this, but we have way too many stories with these powerful black heroes fighting in these hoods, fighting gangs and fighting drug dealers. Like I look out my window, I'm dealing with real life shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not dealing with no drug dealers. I'm afraid I might step out and the cop is going to shoot me. We are no longer afraid of getting pulled over for a ticket. We're afraid of if we get pulled over, I may not make it home.
Facts.
But too many times they want to tell stories of us fighting drug lords and gangsters and stuff. So nobody's telling our stories. So, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Spider-Mans, the Batmans, and the Supermans. But I feel as if every individual has a responsibility to create a story, and that character represents you, your people, where you come from, your heritage, everything. And like I said, I'm excited for the future, and I really appreciate you guys having us on here.
Thank you. No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Right.
But all right, guys, I'm about to wrap this up. Thank everybody for listening. And I thank you guys yet again, over and over again. I appreciate you guys coming on here, taking your time out to, sit here, talk, joke, and, talk some serious stuff about, real life. And hopefully, we can link up again and talk. But I thank you guys, and thank everybody out there for listening. This is Brothers After Dark, and have a good night. Peace.
All right. Good night.